Hey friends, welcome to the In Focus podcast, a show for photographers who are looking to grow and scale a photography business that feels good. I'm your host, Gina, a wedding and elopement photographer, industry educator, coach, and most importantly, your friend. On this show, we'll dive into actionable strategies, industry trends, and all things photography related so you can leave each episode feeling inspired and in focus. Welcome back to the In Focus podcast. I'm Gina, and today's episode is one that so many of you need right now. I've been hearing it everywhere. Photographers are noticing a lull in bookings, inquiries are down, and that panic kind of starts to creep in. Honestly, it feels like I cannot open Facebook groups without seeing this type of post from fellow photographers. First, let me say this, you are not alone. If this is you, if you are experiencing a slowdown, it's not necessarily because you're doing something wrong. It's easy to go to that self-doubt place. Is my work not good enough? Am I too expensive? Did I miss something? But the reality is the wedding industry has natural ebbs and flows. Instead of panicking, I want to give you 3 powerful and strategic things you can do right now to turn things around and start seeing more inquiries land in your inbox. These are not vague, generic tips. These are things that I've seen work firsthand in my business, and they're designed to get you visible, get you booked, and help you confidently navigate these slow seasons. So if you're ready to get out of this rut and start bringing in more dream clients, grab a notebook or open up your favorite notes app because we are about to dive in. First things first, if inquiries are slow, the first thing we need to check is your visibility. If people can't find you, they can't book you. And sometimes when inquiries drop, it's not because people don't want to book you, it's because they don't know you exist or they're not seeing you at the right moment in their planning process. So let's do a quick visibility audit. First, I want you to check your website traffic and SEO. When was the last time you checked your website analytics? Are people landing on your website? Are you ranking on Google? I know it's really hard to rank on Google, especially the first page for some bigger search options. So a few ideas might be to niche down to your specific city or area. For example, instead of Washington wedding photographer or even Seattle wedding photographer, try Tacoma wedding photographer, which is a slightly smaller city near Seattle, if that's more of the area that you're serving. All right, back to ranking. If you're not ranking, here's a quick fix and tip. I want you to go into your website and go to your homepage. Make sure that your location and specialty are in your website title, headings, and meta description. So instead of just saying timeless wedding photography on your homepage, I want you to change it to Seattle wedding photographer, timeless wedding photography, or whatever geographic region you are serving or trying to target. I want that to be really clear in your website title. Your website title and meta is usually found in the back end of your website. The titles and headings are what you actually see on the pages of your website. So for those, you want the homepage title of, let's say, Seattle wedding to be in a heading 1 style. And that's like the style within your site, whether it's a certain font size or whatever. You want to make sure that those words are in style heading style number 1. Next, update your blog with fresh SEO friendly content. Things like wedding planning tips, real weddings that you photographed in the past, maybe some vendor highlights linking to their pages and sharing with them. Blog posts are a long game, but they help keep traffic flowing. To be honest, I've had a lot of inquiries who find me through Google Images on my blog posts. So they go to Google, search Pacific Northwest elopement, and then in the images, they saw one of my photos, clicked on it, and that brought them to my page. So that's because I blogged that photo on a blog post. Google indexed it, searched it. Now it's on Google page images, and that's what brought them into my page. Next up, I want you to optimize your Instagram and social media for searchability. Remember, we're focusing on visibility right now, so letting people find you. Your Instagram bio should say exactly who you serve and where you are. Example, Pacific Northwest wedding and elopement photographer, helping couples create and capture unforgettable wedding experiences. That way, when someone searches those terms, you might pop up. They are not going to be searching, like, for example, they're not going to be searching Gina Paulson, but they might be searching Pacific Northwest wedding photographer or even just wedding photographer. Second, I'm still going to encourage you to use local hashtags and geotags to show up in searches. For example, hashtag Portland wedding photographer, hashtag Oregon elopement. Okay, I know. In a past episode, I mentioned that Instagram recently said that you weren't going to need to do actual hashtags in the future. but nothing has officially been rolled out about that, at least at the time of this recording. So I'm going to say until then, keep on pushing those hashtags, baby. Let's keep them going. They can help people find you. I had actually had so many inquiries find me through hashtags that it's wild. So hashtag the area, so the actual area you were shooting or that you're targeting. The venues is another one that a hashtag, and then couples that are getting booked at their venues actually search the hashtags of their venues. It's something that I didn't really realize, but that's how I've had couples find me. Another thing that you can think about is just terms in general that potential clients might search. So we have a lot of brides and grooms that are getting married. They're searching wedding planning tips, flower arrangements, bridesmaids dresses, like things like that that's information they're trying to find. So any way we can get in front of them, those are great hashtags to include on relevant posts. Third, we want to update your highlights on your Instagram with recent work, testimonials, and behind the scenes content. Make it easy for someone to instantly see what you do. Do you have a quick and easy way for potential clients to get a full picture glance at what you offer and what your style is? Is it clear that you have experience and that your past clients absolutely love you? Show that freaking off, all right? I want it plastered everywhere, especially if you have killer testimonials. Like, create Instagram posts, create story slides, highlight them. Those should be on repeat, showing them off constantly. Clients also want to know who you are, and they want to be able to connect with you, even just a little bit. Showing some behind the scenes of you working or getting your face on there is really the best way to allow them to see the real person behind this business and then connect with you. All right, number 3 within this visibility is let's check to see if you are showing up where your ideal clients are. Okay, so have you updated your profiles and reviews recently? Fresh activity like on Google helps boost your rankings. Also, if there's a venue that you photograph often or you want to, are you on their preferred vendor list? So couples, when they book a venue, they're given this venue wedding guide usually, and there's normally a vendor list. And so there's a list of photographers that they're literally handed. A lot of couples don't want to do their own research. They just want to be told like, oh, these photographers have shot there, the venue recommended them, I'm going to reach out to these ones first. How can you get your name on that list? What I've done in the past is, especially venues that I've shot at before, I will always share the gallery, always stay in connection with the contact that I have there. And then if it's a venue that I really, really want to be on their preferred vendor list, I will literally just email and ask like, hey, do you guys have a preferred vendor list? Is there any way, like, how can I get on that? You know, just ask and they'll let you know if you can get on it, if it's full, does it cost something, etc. If it's a venue that you haven't shot at, I think just creating that relationship first. I've reached out to ask about a vendor list and then I offered to do some content photos for them if they need photos of a venue, or maybe they're creating a new space at their venue and they need photos, and just start to build that relationship. If you're really trying to get your name out there, getting into some directories is also a great place to start. Something like the knot.com, they have wedding directories. A lot of couples start there, right? They think that's where they need to start with their wedding planning process. Some of these bigger name directories are a great place to start if you're getting started and you're just trying to get in front of as many eyes as possible. I also really prefer more local options. So like, for example, I'm in Washington. There's a wedding publication, a magazine here called Washington Wedding Day, and they have a membership. It's a great place to get your name into. You do pay for these memberships. It's like paying for advertising. It's part of your business costs, but it's a great way for couples who are looking into these resources, these planning resources. They're already there, and then there's your name, right? There's someone putting your name out there, and hopefully you either have some kind of imagery to go with it or something that makes them want to come and look you up. Last point of this, maybe think about engaging in local Facebook groups. Sometimes I'll see couples or brides-to-be posting and asking for recommendations for photographers. Don't just drop your link. And first of all, don't be afraid to drop your link. Like, nobody else is going to drop your link. I mean, maybe, hopefully, but be the one that takes charge here and drop your own damn link. Comment with like genuine advice, showcase your expertise, maybe drop some photos below that. Let your portfolio speak for itself. So I always think that's a great way to get your name out there inside of Facebook groups, especially local ones. If I was a bride, I would love to book a local photographer who like I might run into at the grocery store. You know, like they just know the area. It's another way to connect with your photographer. Don't be afraid to drop your link, okay? Put your name out there. You are your own marketing coordinator and director, all right? If inquiries are down, it's time to get visible and make sure couples can actually find you when they are searching for a photographer. Hey photographers, I'm interrupting my own episode because there's something I want to tell you. If you are ready to elevate your wedding photography business, build an incredible portfolio, and connect with a community of like-minded creatives, then you do not want to miss this. I'm hosting an in-person wedding photography workshop on May 26th, and it's going to be an absolute game changer for your business. This is your chance to capture stunning, high-end portfolio images with curated styled shoots, dive deep into the business and marketing strategies, and get hands-on coaching to help you book more of your dream clients. Whether you're looking to refine your posing, master your workflow, or elevate your overall brand, this workshop is going to be designed to give you everything you need to level up. Spots are limited to 10 photographers, and early bird pricing won't last long. Head to the show notes and submit an application now to secure your spot. I cannot wait to see you there. Let's make this the year your photography business absolutely thrives. Okay, part 2 of this strategy is going to be strategic outreach. This is the power of vendor and client relationships. Once we have made sure that you're visible, which is what we did in the last step, the next step is I'm going to call strategic outreach, because here is the truth. Sometimes you have to create the momentum yourself. If you recall last episode, episode 6, one of my questions was, where in your business are you waiting for someone else to make the first move? This right here, this step, this strategy is usually an area where we can catch ourselves waiting for someone else to reach out to us, when in reality, we need to be proactive and make the first steps here. All right, so step 1 within this strategic outreach strategy is going to be strengthening your vendor relationships. When I'm talking about vendor relationships, I want you to think about the planners, the florists, the venues, the videographers, hair and makeup artists, etc. that you have worked with at past events or that you know are in your area. Have you reached out to them lately? Have you connected with them? My favorite way to stay connected is on Instagram because it's quick, it's easy, it feels more personable than an email. So I'll send a quick DM. I'll say something like, hey, I absolutely loved working with you at blah blah's wedding. If you ever have couples looking for a photographer, I'd love to be a resource for them. I hope XYZ is going great and I love watching what you're up to. So I'll go on their page. I'll kind of see like what they've been up to lately. Hopefully they've been posting or there's something to connect with them on. If not, I'll just see what they've been posting. And then I'll try to include that in there. Just takes a few extra minutes and I genuinely catch up on their life before reaching out. I don't ask for anything in return. It's super casual and it's just a way to stay in touch and at the front of their mind. Another idea would be to feature vendors on your blog or Instagram stories. Showcase their work and tag them. I recently actually had a fellow photographer do this to me. Shout out to Lindsay Paradiso Photography. She made an awesome blog post that was educational for couples who are planning weddings in a specific area. And so within that blog post, she listed photographers in the area. Obviously, she was number one, and her goal of the post was to bring people to her page, but I was also listed on that list of photographers. So naturally, I shared her post on my story. I gave her a big thank you and a high five, and now she's on my list too. So it's just like this great way to build this relationship and just like showing that you're getting other people's names out there as well. It's also super helpful for couples just in general. Like if she's actually not available, it said like, here are other photographers in the area if I'm unavailable. Like then I was listed. It was so awesome. In addition to vendor relationships, here's where I also want you to focus within this kind of strategic outreach. I want you to know that past clients are your secret weapon. I would say that about 3 to 4 of my booked weddings every year are from past client referrals. And I only take about 10 weddings on a year now, so that's a huge percentage for me. And that's just for booked weddings, all right? When I look at my inquiries in general, the number is also significant in how many inquiries I bring in. So it's super important. So my question for you is, have you checked in with your past couples lately? Maybe send a quick message, something like, hey guys, I was just thinking about your wedding and how much fun it was. If you know of anyone getting engaged, I would love to work with them. Maybe you could mention something more personable or like a funny memory from their day or something. Just something that lets them know that you are still thinking about them and their day, and this puts you back on their radar and at the top of their mind. One strategy I did early on in my business was offer a referral bonus. If a referral booked me, so a past client sends a referral my way, and usually the referral's like, oh, I know you from XYZ, you shot their wedding. Okay, great. Now I know whose it is. What I would do if they booked me, I would send that past couple a $50 Amazon gift card. And if I was someone who got $50 for simply just suggesting a photographer's name, you bet I would be offering up their name left and right. Yep, thank you. And then $50 was nothing compared to the booking that I just received. So really, it's a win-win. It's a great way to incentivize couples and anybody you know to put your name out there for you, do a little bit of marketing for your business. Third part of this relationship-based strategy is to consider styled shoots and creative collaborations. First, if your portfolio is feeling outdated or doesn't reflect the work that you want to be booking, you need to create it. And in doing so, it's a great opportunity to reach out to local vendors and organize a styled shoot. I want you to think outside the box with these and think unique locations or concepts. Make it something exciting, on trend, collaborative, and beneficial for all of the vendors involved. Sometimes you really need to hype these up to vendors. Like, we're all busy. We all have things going on. Make it something that they want to say yes to, that they don't want to miss out on. Not only does this keep you creatively inspired, but it also gives you fresh content to market yourself with, and then you can share the images with the vendors. So not only do they get fresh, new, beautiful images for their own marketing use, but then they can tag you when they post them, and it's really just an overall win-win for everyone. One thing I usually do with these styled photo shoots is to check in with each vendor ahead of time and ask them what they need for images. So like, how can you serve them? How can you help them as well? Make it really mutually beneficial. Maybe they need a really nice wide shot for a header image, or maybe they really want to do a full page advertisement. Maybe they need a bunch of vertical images for Pinterest, or maybe they could just use some behind the scenes of them setting up the shoot. Like, this is great, and you can easily provide this and build that relationship. It just goes a long way in building out those vendor connections. All right. My third and final strategy for you today on what you can do when bookings are slow is all about re-energizing your offer and messaging. Now that we've tackled visibility and outreach, the final step is to make sure your offer and messaging are compelling so people actually want to book you. I want you to ask yourself, do you have a clear and enticing offer? In wedding photography, this means, are your packages easy to understand? If a couple lands on your website, can they quickly see what's included and does it make sense? If you don't list your packages on your website, which is actually super common, do you at least list your starting price or give them an idea of like reaching out to you, what it might include, what might working with you include? I'm not saying you need to list like, here's all of my packages and what's included, but give them an idea to entice them to reach out and get more information. Sometimes inquiries slow down because we've made our pricing and services too confusing as well. So once you do send them information, I want you to make sure that it is simple. I was recently working with a client on her pricing packet, and when she first sent it over to me, I opened it up and I was immediately overwhelmed. It had the bones to be beautiful, but the way it was laid out felt overwhelming, chaotic. It just felt like too much information for me to literally want to process. She had too many fonts going on within this packet. She had a dark background with white text, which for this specific pricing packet was not working. The text went all the way to the edges of the pages, so it just felt really crammed. I felt immediately stressed at looking at it. So the first thing we did was we worked on adding some negative space to her pages. When communicating your offer, make sure that it's breathable, it's easy on the eyes, it's easy for your clients to just take in the information. Secondly, when it comes to colors, make it easy to read. You can have a dark background if this fits your brand and style and mood, as long as the font on that dark background is bold and simple enough to read. Stick to a maximum of 3 fonts within your designs as well for a more cohesive look. Focus on breathability within the page. Leave room for their eye to move around and room for strategic empty space. And honestly, if this is not your strong suit, just buy a pre-designed one. Buy a pre-designed pricing packet to deliver your offer and messaging. Make it easy on yourself. I sell one. I will link it in the freaking show notes. Let's just make this easy and then we can move on. Okay, that was a slight tangent on design there, but let's get back into this point of re-energizing your offer and messaging. Next, are you speaking to your ideal client's needs? We want to balance between allowing clients to connect to you, but also connect to your work. So if all of your captions, your website, and your emails are all about you and they're not about your client's needs, they won't connect to your work. On the flip side, if you never show your face or talk about yourself, you might be missing the opportunity for them to connect with you. So it might be something like this, a balance between a post that says something like, I love capturing love stories that have me flying to a new destination where I can become immersed in a new place with my couple. That caption is about you. And then balance that with another post with something like, imagine reliving your wedding day exactly as it felt. The feeling of salt in the air and your closest friends and family all experiencing a new place together. Let's make that happen. That's about them. So we want to make sure that we're speaking to both of them, allow them to connect to you, like you love capturing destination weddings, obviously, but also allow them to connect to your work and see themselves in your work. Dialing in your actual messaging and making it absolutely slap is crucial. A final strategy that you could look to implement here is limited time offers and urgency strategies. If inquiries are slow, consider running a limited time booking incentive. an engagement session flash sale add-on, or a bonus album credit, or maybe you have something like a killer wedding planning guide that you can position as a limited time offer, even though you actually send it to all of your couples. We just need them to get into your inbox and on a call with you, okay? Another strategy here is to do a post on social media, maybe saying something like, wow, this year is booking up so fast. I only have X amount of spots left, or I only have 2 weekends left in July, or I can't believe how many couples have booked me this last week. Posts like this create a sense of urgency and remind potential clients that if they're meaning to book, they should do it now. What I want to caution you with this final strategy here is that within this, you need to be aware of how you are coming across. I am not telling you to discount your services. It's not about devaluing your work. It's about creating urgency for couples who might be on the fence. Okay, that's it. If inquiries are slow right now, don't panic. Do not go to Facebook and complain about it. Instead, let's refocus on these 3 things. Number 1, visibility. Make sure your couples easily find you and your work. Number 2, strategic outreach. Nurture vendor and client relationships to generate referrals. And number 3, re-energizing your offer. Refine your messaging and make sure your packages are clear and compelling. And most importantly, don't let fear slow you down. Slow seasons happen, but they're also great opportunities to work on your business instead of just in it. Take action, try new strategies, and trust that the right clients are on their way. If you loved today's episode, take a screenshot, share it with me on Instagram, tag me. I would love to hear what resonated with you. I would love if you have a moment to leave a review for me. It helps the show a lot and lets me know what you liked. Thank you for tuning in to the In Focus podcast. I will see you next time. And until then, stay focused and keep smiling.